Hello YouTube. That's right, it's Mardi Gras season here. I'm not really big into the parades that much, but my wife likes to go. She likes to bring the kids to see the parade, the floats. I'm joined tonight by my Savinelli 120. It tends to be my go-to for some reason. It's light. I like the size of the bowl, you know. And it smokes really good. I got some Old Toby in here this time. I don't really smoke a lot of aromatics, but I do have a couple around for when I want something milder. Anyway, I'm reminded of a story my mother told me about Mardi Gras. You see, back in the day, before my time, Mardi Gras was a big family event. It wasn't half as lewd as it tends to be nowadays. A lot of drunks and less than family-friendly atmosphere going on. But over time it's become less so. But back in the day it was more of a family thing. And the story my mom told me was when she was a little girl, her dad would spend the day before cooking. He'd make homemade fried chicken, dirty rice, that kind of stuff. I mean, a big meal. Everything he'd make himself. And he'd go out early in the morning, before, not in the morning, but early before the parade started. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And they'd go find their spot to be at, and they'd go sit out there and have a giant blanket and make a picnic out of it. And they'd be out at the parades all day. So they were there early before it started, then during and after and everything. As a family, they would go. They would prepare this meal and this giant picnic and spend the day out, and it was just a different time. When I finally came along, I remember when I was younger, my uncle would set up this giant tent. I mean, you could stand upright in it. It was this huge tent. And he'd cook out there. You know, he'd maybe boil some crawfish out there. And he had a whole setup. Can't do that anymore. But I remember it was my entire family would be out there. My side of the family, my dad, and then my mom's sister and their side, and all my cousins and my uncles. And it was an all-day affair. And we just have a good time as a family. Nowadays, if you're ever in my neck of the woods, and you want a family experience of Mardi Gras, don't go to New Orleans. It's rare that you get a family experience in New Orleans. A lot of bad things happen in the city of New Orleans. You want to stay like in Kenner and Metairie, which is the little towns, cities outside of New Orleans, which is where we went tonight. It was nice. Wasn't too bad. We got there early, about 5 o'clock this evening. Parade didn't really get to us until 7. We left a little early. Left around 8:30 or so because there was 2 parades back to back. We didn't want to keep the kids out that late though. And so I'm just happy it was a family-friendly atmosphere tonight. Because, there's not enough things for families to do together. I wonder why that is. Why does it seem like there's such a destruction of the family? Or against family things? Why is the family so looked down on? Or at least, maybe not directly, and necessarily. We could argue about that, but I mean, at least in a passive sense in society. It just seems like everything has some kind of perversion to it. Not, when I say perversion, I don't necessarily mean sexual perversion, but just in the sense that the thing is twisted, whatever it may be. Why can't things be innocent? Why do we have to feel like with kids we have this idea that we need to expose them to these things early on so they're quote unquote prepared. But the thing is, kids are still developing. Even teenagers. Their minds are still developing, and you want to expose them to something that may harm them mentally, they may not understand, they're not ready for. There's a reason we say, well, as adults, we handle things differently than teenagers, and that there's, things they shouldn't be involved in. Why do we feel this need to, this backwards idea of, well, we need to expose them to it early? No, we don't. Why? There's a reason they're not prepared for it. You can see the reflection of my glasses. It's really annoying me. But, I don't agree with that sentiment. They should be protected by us who are the adults. And they go, well, they won't fit in with society. They won't fit in with a depraved society, you mean? Isn't that kind of the point? Do you want them to fit in with that? That's why I don't like it's like kids dating at young ages. When my mom dated in the 50s, okay, it was a bit different. They were dating for the proper reason, marriage. But nowadays, dating is just the things they could do as friends, they want to do as dating, quote unquote. And then they just want to get sexually involved. And it usually always leads to that. They want to hold hands and hug each other, put their arms around each other. They want to start kissing and everything. And they're setting themselves up for something that they are not prepared for. I don't care if they're 15, 16, they're not ready for it. Until they're ready to get married, they shouldn't be dating. Because that's what dating is for. It's to prepare you for a spouse. Is this person the fit for me? No? Okay, date the next person. It's not a cure for loneliness, is my point. It's discernment of, am I going to get married? And is this the person to marry? That's why you discuss all the important questions ahead of time. And the problem is we have all these little boys, even when they're adults, they're little boys, who are going from woman to woman, are using, sleeping with them and everything, and not being prepared. All right, I'm off on a tangent, so I'm going to go ahead and go now and finish my pipe. God bless, take care, be grateful and thankful.